hope she's watching it. All right, lesson 11.4, translations, reflections on the coordinate plane. Even though it's this coordinate plane, we're not going to do a lot of graphing today, okay? So, I'm going to go to this first. If I had to ask you what a translation was, sorry if I did change color. Yeah. We'll go with this. If I had to ask you what a translation was, what would your guess be? Yes. Okay? Moves, yep. That's what a reflection would be. Okay, reflection is what, right, if it's a reflection, if it's mirrored. Okay, a translation is something is moved. Okay, so those are the two things we're going to, I don't even know it yet.
No, I feel like we did last, I don't like reflection. Other ones like mirror.
Okay, 3 vocabulary words. We're going to start with learning about translations first. Okay? First thing we're going to do, we're going to learn about translations first. But transformation are all the different types of things we're going to learn about in the next 2 days. Reflections, translations, we're going to talk about rotations, things rotating. We're not talking about that today, but we're going to stick with translations and reflections today. And so they're going to give you a shape on the coordinate plane, and you have to find what the new figure looks like with what they're trying to tell you. So like if they want you to move it right or left or up or down, that would be the new image. And then translations, what we just talked about, sliding the whole thing a certain direction. How did I do it with the other 7th grade? I already did me. I had them recorded, or like when Mr. Brunsman taught you, I took them and I brought my stuff with me and then taught them in like the computer lab or somewhere else. All right, so let's talk about translation. Yes? No, I usually have you write them all and then I talk. But today I kind of feel a little bit full. Just right. Stop. Good, Riley? For the most part? Okay. You're not ready? It's April 25, people. Okay. Okay, a few other things you need to know. Okay, we're just translations. When you're moving up and down, okay, so let's say we have a coordinate plane. Looks like this. This is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. Let's say this is my figure. Let's say it looks a little better than that. It's a nice rectangle. If I'm going to move this up and down, the only things that are going to change are my y coordinates. Remember when you have a coordinate pair, it looks like this? So if I'm going to move up and down, the only thing that's going to change is the y. Okay, if I'm going to move side to side, what do you think is going to change? The x. Okay, so that's really important to know. So if I'm moving up and down, so up and down, I'm going to move up and down. I change the y. If I'm moving side to side, I'm going to change the x. Okay. So far, so good? Okay, I'll show you how we're going to use this now. Show you how we're going to use this. And sometimes it might be move it to the left and then move it down, or move it to the right and then move it up. So you're going to have a few different translations. It might not just be one way. It might also be up and down, or side to side, or side and up, or this way and down, or whatever. So you're probably going to have 2 things you have to worry about. The next thing. So this is how we're going to use this today. Okay. And probably, I'm going to graph one so you can see how it works. Okay, so I'm going to graph, this is the vertices of the triangle. The first triangle they're going to give me. So I'm going to graph that quick so you can see what it looks like. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have, that's A. And then B would be 4, 2. This is B. And I think C is right here. So I'm going to connect those dots. Here's the picture that they give me. And they want me to translate this or move this on the coordinate plane. Now they're going to do a few things for you. They're going to probably tell you what these are, or they will give you a thing like this and you have to figure out what the coordinates are of the figure at the beginning. Okay? Then they're going to tell you what they want you to do with it. So they want you to translate it right 4 and up 2. So let's talk about right 4 first. Okay, if I'm going to go right, so this is the y and this is the x. If I'm going to go this way, because they want me to put it that way first, and they want me to put it up to, so they're going to make me go like this way, and up. Okay, so that's the way that that triangle is going to go. If I'm going to the right, do you think I'm going to add to my x or subtract my x? Think of the numbers on that thing. Okay, so if I'm going to go to the right, I'm going to add. This is another thing you might want on your note sheet. What do you think if I go to the left? What do you think I'm going to do? Yeah. And then if I even go up and down, think about moving that thing up. What do you think? If I'm going to go up, what do you think I'm going to do then? I'm going to add, and if I'm going to go down, I'm going to subtract. Some of you are like, I still don't understand what we're going to do. Now watch. So I'm going to take my old pairs here, and I'm going to write them like this. Okay, and C is going to be 0, 2. And up here, I'm going to put X and Y, so I know which ones are my X's and which ones are my Y's. Make sense? Okay? So it's telling me that I'm going to go right 4 units. Now, if we think back, if I'm going to go right, what am I going to change? My X. Very good. So if I'm going to go right 4 units, what am I going to do to my X? Do you think I'm going to add 4? Very good. So my new A, and I put a little line behind it, it's called A prime. That's like my new A coordinate. Okay? So my new X for A is going to be 6. Now, if it's telling me I want to make it go down to, is it up to? Up to. What am I going to do to my 5? I'm going to add 2. So it's going to be, that's my new one. Now, if I would just say to myself, well, if I don't know how to do this, if I say, okay, well, they want me to move it to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 2, that would be my A prime, that would be my new A, and if I look down here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? You don't have to graph today. If you can figure out how to change the coordinates, you don't have to do any graphing. Okay? Let's do the next one. Let's do B. Okay, so I'm going to keep my thing consistent throughout the whole thing. So we said for x's we had to add 4, right? Okay, so my new b would be 8, and for y's we had to up 2, yeah, 4, and then c would be 4, 4. Those are my new coordinates. If I moved it, yep, that's it. That's it. So the biggest thing today is you have to figure out if you're adding or subtracting. This is a good thing to have in your notebook. If you're going from left to right, if you're going to go this way, if you're going to go right, I should put right, left, up, down, so you know, okay? And your side to side is always your x coordinate, and up and down is always your y. So just make sure you know that. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Alright, so we won't graph it. Let's just talk about the coordinates. So I'm going to write my new ones out. A would be 4, 6. B is 5, 2. C is 8, 2. And D, I don't know, 8, 6. Okay, so what's it telling me it wants me to do? Left, 3. So that means for my X, what am I going to do? Minus 3. And what am I going to do my Y? So I'm going to subtract 1. So if I'm going to go left, I'm going to subtract. If I'm going to go down, I'm going to subtract. I'm going to subtract whatever they tell me, whatever I'm doing here. So if I look at A, it's going to be 1, 5, yeah? You can get a negative number because think of your graph here. So you have negative numbers over here and negative numbers down. So negative numbers are fine. Yep, they're fine. So then the next one would be 2, 1. Is that right? And then C would be 5, 1. And then, see, I always have to look back at what I'm doing here. And then 5, 5. Those are my new ones. Okay. Any questions so far? What? I'm going to give you one I want you to do by yourself. Okay? Here's one. Do it by yourself. So here's my coordinates. Let's do A. Sorry. Let's do 5, 6. Let's do a B as 1, 5. And let's do a C as 0, 9. Just remember I'm making these up. And I want you to translate to right, 4 down. So find the new points. So really, probably not. Read character. It's like what my toddler does. And he's 2. Okay, A, what's the new way? Yeah, here. 7, 2. Give me B. Who's got B? Carver? 3, 1. Good. What? What's the matter? Yeah. And he thought he had the last laugh for a second. I bet. Did you? Wait, did you subtract both? Okay, so remember. Okay. So then C, somebody else give me C, Riley. 2 and 5. Nice job. 2 and 5. Okay, time out. If you are not sure what to do and you're going to get confused, this is what you need to do. You need to write yourself a note. For X, I'm going to add 2. For Y, I'm going to minus 4. Then give yourself a note so you can go back and figure it out. So you don't got to sit in there and think every single time. Write this out for yourself so you know what to do. Okay? All right, next thing. We're going to talk about reflections next. Reflections. And actually, reflections are probably the easiest kind of transformation you're going to do. Why? Because there's just 2 simple rules. You don't have to add anything. You don't got to subtract anything. You don't got to multiply by anything. What? Kind of, yeah. Yeah. So, well, there's a rotation, reflection, translation. No, just 2 today. Line of so reflection is flipping over a line or axis. Okay, so everything they're going to have you do is going to be either flipped over the X or the Y today. They're going to keep it simple. Then, a line of reflection is what they're having you flip over, actually. So if they say flip over the X, that would be your line of reflection. Now, if you think about a reflection, okay, so many people think, so I'm going to use the letter B. And I'm going to flip it over the Y. That means I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it over the Y. So many people think that this would be the answer. Right? It's going to be backwards. It's going to look like this. Okay? Well, better than that, but you know what I mean. But what if I was going to flip it over the X? It would be upside down, but it would look the same. A B would look the same, right? Unless this one is a little bigger than the bottom. A C would look like this. And it also looked like that, just flipped. Like a square, if you're going to reflect a square, you guys, square is going to be the same throughout the whole thing, right? So that's just something to think about as a reflection. Okay, so two This is it. The only 2 rules for reflections. Make sure you get them written down. Because if you don't, you're going to get confused. So this is just for reflection. With translation, that's where you have to add to the y or subtract from the y or x, vice versa. This is just for reflections. Then you just flip the sign. So really you could say, change the x sign, change the y sign. Really you could. So here's what people are going to get confused. If they think, oh, if it's across the y, I got to change the y. Okay, you got to change the opposite. Okay, you got to change the opposite. So really, the only thing you got to look at is what you're going to flip over and then apply the rule. So here's my triangle. If I'm going to flip across the x, what am I going to change? Just the y's, right? So what are my y's? My y's would be here, here, here. So my new a would be 3, -5. My new b would be 6, -1. My new c would be 1, -2. Now somebody asked, what if I had this? What if this was a -2 to start out with? Then I just make it a positive. You're just going to flip the sign. That's all. Yep. So even if you want to say change the x sign, you could do that. Maybe that would be easier so you don't get confused. But seriously, this one's the simplest one. If you can follow the rule, you can get these right. All you need to do is be able to follow the rule. Okay? Yeah. All right, do this for me. Do this one for me. Do this one. If you can follow the rule. And there's going to be rules for everything. When we have rotations, there's going to be rules. I mean, so just a lot of rules. All right, are you ready? So, if I'm going to flip over the y, what am I going to change? The x. The x. So my new a, whoa. Let's go one by one. I have too many people yelling things out. All right, yeah, Riley. A, what's the new a? -4. What's my new b? Somebody else, right? What's my new c? Larissa. -4, 1. And my new d? Evan. -1, 1. Good job. Okay, one thing I want you to do before you're done. I want you to do these 2 things. It's kind of just like a review of both of them, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. So the first one, here's your triangle, and you're going to translate it. You're going to move it. Remember, that's what we just did. You got to figure out if you're going to add or subtract to the x and the y. This one, reflect across the x-axis. So figure both of them out. Figure both of them out. Right 3, down 2. I think the easiest ones are the downs, because you know what you got to do. Or up, you got to add. Down, you subtract. That's pretty simple. This kind of reminds me of the cha-cha slide. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left. Kind of reminds me of that. Okay, if I'm translating right 3, so am I going to add or subtract? Add. And down 2, I'm going to subtract. Okay, so somebody tell me what my new A is. Who haven't I heard from? Hunter, what's my new A? 3. My new A? Is that right? I would get 4, 3. It's right 3. Shh. Hey. If it's right 3, we got to add 3. So it'd be 4, 3 for A. Yeah. So for B, it should be 5, 0. For C, it should be 8, 2. Okay. Then if you're going to reflect across the X, you're going to change the Y. So it should be, D should be 3, -4, 1, -2, 5, -1. Okay? Get your homework out, or get your book out, because I need to talk about it.